What's up, guys and gals? Your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the latest chapter. Wait a minute now. This is chapter 75. 76 came out, but 74 and 75 weren't released. I have no idea what's going on with Jump. Apparently, they are refusing or are not going to be releasing chapters 74 and 75 digitally on Viz.com. I have no idea why. I haven't read into it. I've been a busy beaver, so yeah. Either way, apparently, after my little notice video that I said, listen, I'm going to wait for Viz because I like to wait for the official and stuff, apparently that's all out the goddamn window because Viz is butthurt about something? I don't know. Anyways, chapter 75, I can understand why they wouldn't want to publish it because this is the thing I feared. This is what I was worried about. It was a waste of time. Chapters 74 and 75 were a big waste of time because all they did was reconfirm Lou, who doesn't truly believe in Ayakashi UFOs and aliens and all that stuff, even though, like, it's very confusing because she truly does not believe in it, and that was already stated multiple times in the series, and early on in the series. Now she's trying to confirm it, even though she doesn't truly believe it in her heart. Sort of like somebody who goes to church. I think I made this comparison in the last chapter review. Goes to church, believes in God, like, wants to believe in God, but deep down doesn't believe in God and Jesus and all that stuff. You know, they go to church, they do the Hail Marys, they don't swear, they don't, fuck before marriage, whatever they do. And, yeah, so I'm sort of like about her character from the get-go, and then we waste 2 damn chapters. No wonder Viz, honestly, like, at first I wanted to blame Viz for this. I'm like, listen, dudes, like, I literally waited for you, and now we get these chapters, but these chapters, once again, were not that great. I haven't read chapter 76 yet, but it did drop. I was very confused by that, but I had football to watch yesterday, so now, today on Monday, and now that I'm home from work, I'm going to be reviewing both chapters here. I'll be doing 75 right here because this is more of a rant video. This is more of the rant one. Then we'll get into chapter 76. We'll see if it's any good. Maybe I'll just do a live reaction to that one right after I'm done recording this. But anyways, point of the matter is, chapter 75 here is, like, once again, how is Lou this naive? How they even bring it out? They fourth wall break a little bit and stuff because I think it's Suzu. I'm not sure if it's Suzu or Shirogane says basically like, how do you misunderstand a situation this badly? They're making fun of her themselves in universe in the manga. They are like, really. And once again, the problem that I have with that is not that hasn't happened in multiple series, not that that's a trope, the misunderstanding thing for the entirety of the series. That's a classic, and it's a done and tried trope of manga. However, this manga, Ayakashi Triangle, is something that I have praised before and has done this before where, no, you know what? They do it for a while, and then after a little bit, they're like, you know what? No, they didn't misread the signals. They did hear correctly. There is no amnesia bullshit. It's just, I heard you. You said you love me, and I get it. You said you're a demon, and I understand. There is no way, shape, or form that it was misunderstood, right? That is something that Ayakashi Triangle has done multiple times, not just once or twice, but a solid almost half a dozen times now throughout the course of the 75 chapters so far. And I've enjoyed that. They've started the trope, but then sort of cut it off at the pass before it got too tried and true. Before it like went on, and it was just like, ugh. At the end of the day, a lot of shoujo and a lot of romantic comedy manga tend to do that way too long to the point that it gets exhausting and boring. Ayakashi Triangle is not the best manga, not best written, not best anything, but at least it's trying to change up the trope a little bit, keeping the tropes while cutting them off to the past when they get a little too stale. The Lou character is basically sort of putting a big black X, erasing that little, like, praise that I was giving it, and sort of twisting it on its head because this is ridiculous. Even if they're addressing it in-universe. Shirogane, Matsuri, and Suzu all addressing this in-universe. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Not only, maybe it would be better. I could buy it a little more if she firmly believed, like she was, like she's into the occult and stuff, and she firmly believed in the UFOs and the aliens. She believed in the ET story, if she believed that, true and tried and true, then this chapter wouldn't feel wasteful. This chapter would be explained because she's believing in the supernatural element, just the wrong one. Sort of like believing that somebody's a vampire when they're a werewolf, right? It's more acceptable because they know there is something supernatural going on and they firmly know it in their heart. They believe it to be true. They see it with their eyes. They know what they're being. They know that there's something supernatural going on. They might get it wrong, like, you're actually, you're a werewolf, or you're a half vampire, or you're a goblin, not an orc, or whatever, right? Like, they don't fully understand because they don't know about the world, right? You're a demon. No, I'm a devil. That kind of stuff, right? All fine and good if that were the case, but because we have been told on more than one occasion that Lou doesn't truly in her heart believe any of the supernatural, of any regard, whether it's science fiction or fantasy, she doesn't believe it. So this is just adding insult to injury. These last two chapters, all they have done. The last chapter left it open-ended that maybe this would finally convince her, like a show of faith. And she was going to have to believe, and maybe we were going to go down a storyline. I believe I brought this up, that this could actually be intriguing, that Lou, who was the wild one from the get-go, being faced with the truth out of all people, you think she'd be the most easy to accept, but she'd be stone-faced. She would refuse to accept it and not want to believe in the supernatural and actually become shut in and closed off and stuff. And we could go through a character arc for her. That could have been extremely intriguing. But no, that is not what happens here. We just get more Ichi bullshit and more tropey nonsense that goes nowhere. And it has done nothing for our characters. She believes that this connection between UFOs and Hollow Earth and all this stuff, but I've been told she doesn't believe it. So, and there was no shock value here for her to say that she has now accepted it. It hasn't gone that way. You could argue that, now, that was in the past. She didn't fully believe in the UFOs and stuff, but now she really does because she's seen it with her own eyes. But does she? Does she? You know what I mean? It's sort of like showing a guy who doesn't believe in God, I'm going to use the God thing because it's easy, showing a miracle of God happen in front of their face. They can be like, wow, I can't understand or explain how that happened. But in their heart of hearts, they might still go, well, science hasn't caught up yet to explain that. I can't explain how that happened. That does not mean that your God exists. You know what I mean? Like, there's still that seed of doubt way deep down, even if you see a miracle happen in front of your face. So, in front of your eyes. So, in that regard, since this chapter and the last chapter did not tell me outright or show me any indication that Lou changed, or Shirogane or no character had like a monologue insight to say Lou has finally begun to believe. Before she was just like a nerd into science fiction, wanting it to be real, and now she has slowly begun to accept the fact that it is real. I need that line. I need that for this to be validated. Otherwise, it's not valid, and it makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm getting a little too deep into it. Maybe I'm getting too technical. But the fact that I waited for Viz just for them to not release these chapters, had to go find another scanlation and find one just for it to be this bullshit, pisses me off. If you guys must know, it just pisses me off. Either way, I'm not going to talk about the chapter. That's what I'm going to do. As I told you, I'm ranting about the chapter. We're going to go do a live reaction to chapter 76. Hopefully we're done with this bullshit by the looks of it. This was the end of the Detective Lou, Sherlock, storyline, and we can move on to what really matters in this story. If at this point, now if anything, because this is just, like, they take 2 steps forward, then 2 steps back, and I'm always on the same, it's not backwards, but it's never forwards. We feel like they're going forwards, then they go backwards again, and we're always on the same level. We get a little bit ahead, then we go down, then we get a little bit ahead. We're always on the same line. We can't creep up to better things because of bullshit like this. That's how I feel that is the biggest problem with the series. Every time we have something that's a little horror element, a little good story writing, a little good this, a little good that, then it drops down with 2 chapters of crap, and then I'm sitting there going, well, I can't say that the story's consistent. Or, hey, after chapter 75, the story gets pretty good. Or after chapter 102, trust me, the new arc, it's solid the whole way through. No. Ayakashi Triangle has been doing this the entire time. Never way in the basement, never getting high up on the mountain. It's just always on this middle ground because of this kind of crap. So, anyways, what did you guys think? Hopefully you enjoyed the rant part of this, but I really hated this chapter. One of my least favorite chapters in Ayakashi Triangle. Easy. I'm sure there was a chapter earlier that I really hated. I can't remember which one, but I know there was a couple chapters I really hated. But this is definitely in the top 3 of the worst chapters of this entire series. Easy. But anyways, that's the end of the video, the rant, the review, if you want to call it that. Like, comment, subscribe if you like. Don't forget to drink responsibly as always. We will see you guys back here next time for Ayakashi Triangle in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll be seeing you guys for the live reaction video. I'm just going to quickly do that so I can get, just out of this mindset of Ayakashi Triangle chapter 75, because no wonder Viz didn't want to produce that. This shit's bad. Let's just go on and move on to chapter 76. Hopefully that's a better chapter, and we'll see you there in a bit.